Welcome to another tech video. We're going to be looking at a computer case today. This is under 30 quid. So what can we expect from a 30 quid case? Okay, so cheaply packaged, obviously. Want to keep the costs down as much as they can. Feels very light, which is a sign of fairly cheap construction. Okay, so we've got a Perspex side panel, which is good, so you can see your inside of the device. Let's get the side panel off. Okay, now apparently this comes with RGB. Just get down so you can see me. Comes with RGB. Very light, and obviously it moves around on the desktop surface. Okay, that's actually tempered glass, so yeah, it's a glass side panel, it's not Perspex, which is a bit more impressive than just a Perspex screen. Okay, inside we've got our instructions. Let's have a look. Okay, standard, and built into the top here we've got an RGB controller switch apparently. So the front just pops off and removes, obviously keeping the cables in there, and let's have a look a little bit more in detail. Okay, so on the top of the case we've got our power button. We've got, not sure what that is, let's have a look. That's the reset button. Then we've got an LED control button. So we've got 6 settings on here. So the first press is purple. So we've got purple, cyan, yellow, white, blue, green and red by pressing the LED button on the top. Then we've got a hard disk and power activity. We've got 2 USB 2 headers and a single USB 3 header here. And then we've got our headphone and microphone jack. And then running down the front, we've got what looks like an LED strip, which will be controllable from the LED button. And then the wiring from that then goes off, and one of the cables, we've got a joining block on the cable for the LED control on the fan. So when you press the LED button on here, it'll change the color of the strip, and it'll also change the color on the fan. So yeah, so far so good for 30 quid. Let's have a look at the mounting options for hard disks. So we've got, it says here, we've got mounting brackets. So we've got mounting slots for 2.5-inch drives, 1, 2, 3 slots, so you can fit 3 2.5-inch drives on the back panel there. We've also got on the bottom here, we've got some screw holes that you can fit 3.5-inch drive, there, and you can also fit on here a 3.5-inch drive on there as well. It'll sit in those little pegs that you've got on the back of the case there. In terms of the I/O, so we've got plenty of space for all your peripherals, so your GPU will sit in there comfortably. So we're going to be using this case to mount 2 RTX 3050s. You've got a standard ATX power supply hole at the top, and that's pretty much it. So it will fit. You've got ATX mounting for your motherboard. It will take obviously Mini ATX, Micro ATX as well. On the whole, I think that is a pretty good case for 30 quid. The only disappointing thing is so far that we found is actually because it's so light, it will move across the desk, and if we have a look here, there's no rubber mounting feet. So what you probably want to do is get yourself some little rubber grommets and stick those onto those places there that will stop the case from sliding around. But once you've got some weight in there, then it shouldn't be too bad. In terms of cable management, so what have we got here? We've got a mounting pack for different motherboard types, some little finger tightening screws. This is our USB 3 header. This is our SATA connector, so this will be for the LED controller, I would have thought. Standard SATA, which runs up to the top, providing power for the LED little controller that I'm assuming is not necessarily under there, but I'm assuming it will just switch the color strips by button press. We seem to have some hair in here as part of the manufacturing process, so attention to detail, a bit iffy, but on the whole, so far so good. Right, so that's that bit done. And then on the back side of the case, we've got plenty of slots for your cable ties and cable management. I'm assuming that once the power supply is in there, you're going to be using these to tie up the additional cabling, unless of course you're using a fully modular power supply, in which case you're only going to have the cables that you need in there. At the top, so potentially the only sticking point I can see is having to route the ATX additional supplementary power at the top of the main board. That will potentially have to come down and behind the power supply, but again, there's plenty of mounting areas for cable ties. And then power to the fans will be via a standard Molex connector, so you want to make sure that your power supply's got one of those. In terms of airflow, there's plenty of airflow enabled on the front. It'll come in through the grills here, through the top here, and the side again there. There's no air intake on the bottom of the case, and if you look, because it sits flush, you wouldn't be able to get that anyway. So getting some additional feet on the mounting points, some rubber feet to lift it up a little bit to keep it off the ground will benefit you. But in terms of the price, I don't think you can go wrong with 30 quid. So if you found that video useful, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and just want to say thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.